Can you share some ideas or some practices that the teacher can do while they are in this stressful environment? How do we as educators, who may be not an
Mhm.
artist, how to identify what truly heals them? Hello and welcome to the Visible Studio, where we make thinking, teaching, and creativity visible. Today's conversation is one that many teachers desperately need, but rarely, including me, but we rarely give ourselves that permission to have. Schools have closed, emails have slowed down, suitcases are packed, we're all on vacation. But here's a question: what if teachers carry far more into the summer break than just a suitcase? They carry emotional conversations, students they couldn't help enough, ideas that didn't quite work out, lesson plans that could have been better, and so many other things. Today, I'm delighted to welcome Sarah Elliott, whose work helping children and families also offers profound insights into supporting the adults who care for them every single day. Sarah Elliott is a licensed therapist, clinical supervisor, and founder of Child Therapy International, specializing in the emotional side of global transitions. With experience working in international schools across Jordan, China, and Uzbekistan as a school counselor and the head of department, Sarah understands the unique challenges faced by globally mobile children and the educators who support them. Through reflective practice, supervision, and consultation, Sarah creates spaces for educators to pause, reflect, and deepen the understanding of the emotional experiences children bring with them into the classroom. Alongside this work, Sarah provides therapeutic support for globally mobile children and young people navigating relocation, identity, belonging, and life between cultures. We welcome you, Sarah, and thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Can you give us a little bit background into your journey and what got you really interested to work with children? Because it is a very challenging job and it is exhausting. So, a little bit about your background and why and what got you passionate in this field.
So my journey started when I really wanted to help children. I worked in the UK. I worked with children who had additional needs, and I just really realized that children were carrying so much emotional weight and they didn't have a means to express it. And so I trained as a licensed therapist, really with a heart to helping children and young people. My journey then went to Jordan and to Amman, where I worked with Syrian refugee children, and then it went to working at an international school at ICS, where I really started to understand the needs that third culture kids have, because they are moving from country to country to country. They experience so much grief, so much loss, and so many exciting things as well.
Anxieties.
Absolutely. And so I then really started to deepen my understanding of how to support them. However, having worked in international schools, also in China and in Uzbekistan, I realized that the educators who are supporting these children face so much more in their classrooms. They are seeing behavior challenge. They are seeing children who come with that grief, with that loss. But the adults who are supporting these children have nowhere to really process how to support them or what's happening for them, how this work is making them as adults feel. Because from a mental health point of view, we know that unless we are regulated, how can we bring that calm to a child who is dysregulated? And so last year I set up Child Therapy International because I realized that on one hand, the children need supporting, but also on the other hand, there are so many adults who are doing amazing work with these children, but there's very little support and professional spaces where they can go and process, how life is impacting them. Because teachers care so much for their students, right? And so often they carry so much more than just a workload. It's not just a job, right? And we carry so much, and the heart behind this conversation today is just hoping to help professionals realize that what they're carrying, becoming aware of that, and it might be that that's not something they want to carry on into the future, right? The metaphor of the suitcase, I love that. What is hiding in your suitcase? Is it the blame that we sometimes have, and that how harsh we can be on ourselves? I should have done this better. That parent meeting should have gone differently. I wish I did more. Or are we looking at it with kindness and realizing that I was in that situation, I did the best I could in that situation, becoming aware of it and realizing that it's okay. These feelings, let them come up, let them look at it. And then once you have that awareness, realizing, do I want to take this into the future? Because it doesn't mean our suitcase needs to be empty of our experiences at all. Because these experiences shape us. They are,
and make us better.
Absolutely, they make us better, who we are. But if there are niggling blame or resentment or disappointment feelings and situations that we have pushed down because we are educators, we push through, we do this, we carry on, we are, we're trying to be okay for everyone else, but deep inside, are we those that actually learn and realize and become aware? Because otherwise, how can we be healthy? How can we be healthy professional with good well-being when everything is pushed down and those niggling feelings, we don't have space for them? Because we tell the children to transition well, they have to leave well, whether that's the end of an academic year, whether that's leaving a school and transitioning to a new school. It's an ending. So ending well means you can also start well. So I'm hoping that this conversation, is going to be really helpful for your listeners.
Yes. The first thing it's that you mentioned is very important. The fact that we acknowledge, that we are human beings, we are teachers, acknowledge the various roles that we have. And you're right, for us as a teacher, it's not always the assignment, the completion of the assignment and the assessment. It goes beyond, especially for subjects like arts. I'm an art teacher, and in my classes for the units, we often delve into more sensitive units, which require us to self-reflect, require the students to do that. And so that they can do it well, they need a safe space in our classroom. So that safe space, and you rightly said that it's not easy to make. We teachers need to be regulated for us to be able to create that safe space for the teenagers whose hormones are constantly all over the place to be settled down. So the first aspect that you mentioned was acknowledging the load. And with that comes, one is the teacher load that they put on themselves. One is the responsibility of the school and what the loads that the school gives you. So first, let us talk a little bit about the support system that the schools can provide and what they need to acknowledge when the teachers are given this space to perform or create a safe space in their classrooms.
Yeah, absolutely. Because unless the system is there to pause and to reflect on ourselves, how can we have time to become aware of how something is impacting us? And creating that safety is really important. And that's part of the role I provide for schools, is to offer we call it supervision in the counselling world, but for educators, it's a professional space to pause and to reflect what went well, what didn't go well. But as you say, it's the system. Is there a system for well-being that's set up to help the teachers and the educators be the best they can be, right? Is there a space where people welcome teachers processing how something is impacting them? Or is everything so fully packed back to back to back to back that there is no space? Yeah. Because I've worked in international schools. If you asked me on a Tuesday, have you got time to process? I would have said, no, are you mad?
14 students a day.
Absolutely. Yeah. There is no way that on that day, if you had come to me just off the cuff and said, Sarah, how do you feel? My honest answer would have been fine. We have a mask on. Yeah. We are here to teach. We're here to do a job. But this is where the system is so important, because if you allocate time, allocate the space, whether that's with, somebody like me who offers, educators this space, or whether you do it internally, right? Offering the space to pause and to reflect, it becomes part of our routine. It becomes part of our healthy habit. Because just like going to the gym, we are not going to be super healthy by going for half an hour to the gym when we have a meltdown about, our weight or whatever it is, right? It's consistency, is that routine, and is implementing that into a school system where professionals and leaders, school leaders, acknowledge our teachers are carrying more emotional weight than maybe they did a few years ago, because our children's needs are complex, right? These children carry grief, carry, huge pain inside of them, but they're often not able to talk about it. And with our teachers, it probably comes out in art, right? That pain, that frustration, that identity challenge, that belonging challenge. But if we are scary, so busy,
I feel it's getting worse every year. With the war going on, so much of unsettling, so much of online, offline schooling. I really feel bad for these students who are growing up in this time.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the challenge, right? For you as educators and as teachers, how do you hold those situations? How do you hold that pain? Because we care. That's why we're in the profession that we do, right? We are not robots. Student situations, their feelings is impacting us. And often, the way teenagers and students experience and express that is by pushing us away, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You might see behavior, you might see a frown, you might see, no, miss, I don't want to do this, they're angry. They completely, Yeah. They completely ignore you
and move 2 steps forward, and then one day suddenly the child pushes you 3 steps back.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
Try doing this constantly with each and every child.
Yeah, and it's easy to take that personal, right?
Yes.
Because unless we stop and reflect ourselves, how is something making us feel as professionals? We just move on and we just think, it's pointless. I'll give up. Why should I bother?
Yeah.
They've just thrown everything I've done for the last month. They've just thrown it away. Instead of realizing, hey, that's me reacting. What's happening for the student? And why is this impacting me so much? Why do I feel so, that I'm such a bad teacher? Because that's usually what comes up.
Yeah.
I'm such a bad teacher. And then, we're instead realizing that you're an amazing teacher who cares.
And that is why you learn so much.
Absolutely. And that's why also the students are pushing you back so much, right? Because you're holding that space. You're helping them see. You make them feel like they belong.
Yeah, or at least providing the space where the outburst can happen. Because there are other subjects where these emotions are not even acknowledged. And sometimes we're sitting on a volcano and with a tap, it comes out. So,
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And the amazing privilege you as educators have, because you are with them for so much of the day, right? And so much of the time. You might see them only once a week, but it's once a week every week for a whole year. I mean, what an incredible privilege, right? So we know our students, and that's the other thing why we care, right? We know them. And also carrying that frustration that sometimes we have, maybe with parents, where we're like, just let this student flourish or do X, Y, and Z. How do we hold that frustration so we don't let it become something that's, not helpful for the student or for us?
And also, I feel that I'm a parent, and sometimes,
Mhm,
I try to project that image on my
mhm,
students, saying that, oh my God,
mhm.
if my child was here in this state,
Yeah,
what would I have done?
yeah.
So, and then you kind of overwhelm yourself because you kind of blame yourself and you carry more than you are responsible for. So,
Yes, absolutely.
yes.
Yeah. Or we try to fix it,
Or we try to
right?
fix it, which is beyond our control. Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. And fixing it is, something that it's quite easy to fall into.
Yeah. And sometimes we believe
I
that,
will just do this. He will be all right.
yeah, and sometimes we believe we can fix it, but maybe not. So, and that is when I feel the teacher, student,
Mm-hmm.
counselor need to work all together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because then you have support for everyone, right? Rather than just, one person trying to say, if it wasn't for me, nothing would happen, or this
Yeah.
child would never be able to do X, Y, and Z if it wasn't for me. That's not healthy, right? Realizing keeping the child at the center,
Hmm.
and everybody does their
Their
part.
own
And
bit.
that's where the school is an amazing community, right?
Yeah.
We all know the saying, it takes a community to raise a child, right? And as educators and counselors, we hold a really crucial role in this. Um,
So now working in different school setups, I've worked with in a smaller school with 200, 300 students, with a 500, then 2000 students. And in each of these spaces, we have counselors. But I've noticed that the roles have changed in most cases, and the support system for the teachers have also changed. Because sometimes
mhm,
when the numbers, like you said, if you have 13 students a day, then it's a little difficult for the counselor to accommodate or even touch up with the teacher regarding a certain student for a project or whatever, you know. So
mhm.
in that space, what do you think is the ideal number of counselor or student support a school would need? What is the ideal ratio so that there's a proper balance?
I think that depends on the school, but most schools are running towards the lower end of having school counselors within their school, because finances are also a topic. And one way round supporting the actual school counselor is providing space where they can refer out, right? Where it's not just what can you do inside the school, but how can you refer out? That's crucial because there are support systems available for, students. But sometimes it's just acknowledging where are those support systems outside? How can we take hold of them? How can we tighten up our work so we are more effective? Because if school counselors just focus on firefighting, on being reactive, on all the students that knock on their door, then they're not really able to do the programming, right? But once you do the programming, then that's when actual school counseling is effective because you are reaching everyone.
Yes.
But for that to happen, who is looking after the students and the children who need that reactive, that instant support? And that's where referring out comes in, if that's possible, where students' needs are still taken care of, but
And more
you as a school
personalized with more time.
absolutely. But then where are the therapists who actually work with the school counselors? And that's the partnership, same as you said about teacher, school counselor, and student. I think there is a huge need for therapists to understand the world of a school counsellor, to work with them, alongside them. And that's something I'm really passionate about, because if I work with a student and I support them in one way, give them some strategies, and then the school counsellor also works with that student and also gives them strategy, that is just so confusing for children, right? And that's where teamwork comes in. Together, working with a team that's around this child to really support them. And part of that is a therapist, is a school counsellor, is an educator. Together we can really make a difference. And the parents, we are together in this, supporting this child to help them thrive.
And this is where you've pinpointed the community around the child. So is there a space where the schools can find a list of counselors and a list of therapists for referral? Because sometimes even this can be little messy. So where can they reach out to find that support system for referrals?
Yeah, so most school counsellors have their list of who they refer out to, whether that's, people like me with Child Therapy International, whether that's maybe the Truman Group, maybe they have local people that they see as counsellors who are licensed. I think I would just put one little caution in there. When you do refer out, just double check the licensure of counsellors, because I've worked abroad in areas where people have done, maybe a 2-week course and they call themselves a counsellor. And I'm like, well, no, that's not really how it works. So just making sure people are licensed is really, really important. But there's definitely lots of therapists out there and school counsellors or school counsellors that they can reach out to.
Fantastic. Now let's come back to the school setup, and we supposedly have the school with a support counselor and students and the teacher. Now again, having the highlight on the teacher, what can the teacher start doing to regulate their own emotion, either on their own, or when should they start to take that step of reaching out for other counselors? So what is that processing look like?
I think the main thing is become aware of it, because so often we are so busy in schools that becoming aware of how we feel early on is really impossible, and most people don't do it. They just keep running until they crash and they're like, I can't cope. And usually it's the end of the term, school holidays coming, they are sick for a week because they've pushed themselves so hard towards the end of term, that they can't cope. And that's also why right now is a really good time to become aware of what worked last year and what maybe didn't work, and what support do I want to put in place so that next year I have that space where I can process. And some people do this. And not wear myself out. And some people might do this by, journaling. Some people find it easiest to talk through with someone. Some people might say, Sarah, I just need to, have some well-being practices, like going for a run every morning. That helps me keep regulated. And then I know, things are a bit too much right now. I'm not sleeping. I'm stressed. I'm not eating properly. I'm worried at night about a student instead of falling asleep. Those are warning signals that, hey, there is quite a lot going on that you are taking on. It's time to ask for support, or it's time to reach out. And sometimes there can be pushback when teachers think I'm asking them to seek counseling or therapy. It's not. Having a supervision space, having a professional space to reflect on work and on how something at work is making you feel, or is triggering you, or you are struggling to hold those emotions, that's not therapy. Because there is still quite a lot of stigma regarding therapy, and adults often say, I'm fine, Sarah. That's where supervision is so effective, because it's not therapy. It's spending time with someone who understands, bringing it, the frustrations, the pain, the annoying thing. And sometimes people come and they say, Sarah, today I have no idea what I'm going to bring, but it's booked in my diary. I want to be true to myself that I've set this up. And they start talking, and suddenly all these things come up. But the good thing is, dealing with them when they're just little things bubbling in the background, instead of pushing them down, means the next day, the next week, they're able to cope better, because all these little things add up and up and up until it goes boom, and then people can't cope. Yeah. And so that's going back to the system thing, having a system in place. So it's a regular practice, it's something you do. Some days you might bring huge amounts of stuff, and other times you might just notice some niggly things that are coming up, thoughts you might be having, a frustration about the parent meeting, and having that space where you can talk about this without feeling judged. Because doing it with somebody on the outside is really helpful, because they are not your line manager, for example, because we are human. Who wants to go to their line manager and say, I'm struggling with this, I'm feeling overwhelmed? No one does, right? And so accessing outside support can be really effective. So becoming aware is the first thing, and putting practices in place throughout the year that become a routine can be really helpful.
Can you talk a little bit more about the stigma, and does it change in different cultural contexts and places? Tell us a little bit more, so the audience is also aware, at recognizing it quite early and then taking a step.
Yes, absolutely. So stigma is definitely there with counselling or with supervision, asking for help. I've noticed that sometimes educators feel that asking for help means they failed. And that is just not the case. And that's where our leadership can come in and really lead the way and say, hey, I have somebody that I talk to. I work with a supervisor, or I work with somebody, or this is how I process when things don't go to plan, for example. So leaders actually making the time, providing the system is really important. So it's not necessary. Like, for example, I work with a school right now in Brazil, amazing school leader who has said, I am putting supervision in place for my staff because I value them so much that I want to be able to provide a space so they can be the best they can for our students. So it's a preventative action, but in the long run, it helps their staff not to burn out. It helps their staff having, processing space and time, and not hovering over them and saying, how did it go? What did you mention? What did you talk about? No, trusting our educators, that they are going to use that time wisely, to process or to talk things through is really important, because that school leader, he wants the best for his staff because he's passionate in being the best school and the best place for the students. And he knows unless my teachers are happy, confident, able to have strong well-being, how can they deal with the stress and the challenges that every day comes their way, right?
Yeah, and today, like you mentioned, I want to thank my first school in India, Pathways World School, and I'm so grateful for having worked there. They had this system of referring counselors for teachers, and which would be completely anonymous, and all bills would be paid by the school. And I felt this is such a beautiful step by the school, where you don't feel judged, where you can speak openly, And it's a fantastic way of supporting teachers, I felt. So yeah, and this is not common, that I've not seen this in any other schools that I've worked with. So yes, so it starts from the school, the system, the leadership.
Yes, absolutely. And it does exist, especially for school counsellors. It does exist, having a space where there is, people can go. But I also feel for educators is just as important.
Yeah.
Or, even I've had interest from schools who want to support people who are arriving as part of their onboarding. They buy 5 sessions and then their staff can use them how they choose.
Fantastic.
Because onboarding is hard. Going to a new country, a new school can be super stressful. And the same with leaving.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Absolutely. And the same with leaving.
Yes.
How do you close not an exit interview?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes there are schools that mention support, just for the name of it. And sometimes they would more like support is telling you what are the stages and what are the rules. Like, come on, everybody has read the book. But what else could you do to support the teacher as a human being? And what is your vision for this entire system? So yes, it makes a big difference.
Yeah. And everybody talks about well-being, right?
Yes.
If you ask any school leader, yes, we are good with well-being. We offer coffee in the morning to our staff. We have a staff room. All these things are important. Yeah. Don't get me wrong.
Email
they
once
are
a
really
month.
important.
Yes. All of these, yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
they are
we have to go identify what is more superficial and what could be really helpful for the teachers.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's bringing all those things together, right? But for me, well-being and encouraging teachers and educators to be the best they can be from a mental health point of view then means that they're able to do such better work, are not worn out, are not dreading to go to work on a given day, and, feel that, hey, I belong here at this school. People see me, people care for me, and I'm able to do
and I'm willing to do more.
That I want to do, which
I can
is
perform
supporting the students. Yeah, absolutely. And a huge step is also calling out that common thread of, how you are so good because you're pushing through, well done. Oh, I only got 3 hours sleep because, I was doing my marking, no, that shouldn't be glorified as well done. Here I'm celebrating this teacher.
Yeah.
No. Calling it out and saying that is not healthy is really important. And that's what we all can do, right? Yeah. Making sure that there is no pressure to, answer emails after 5 o'clock at night. It's little things that we all can do to say, those are the small things. I'm going to have those boundaries, those routines, things set up in order to, protect my well-being. And the summer holiday are the best to really do all that thinking. Yes. Because once you go back to school, you got time to think?
Yes.
You said you're moving to a school, a new space, you're packing up your boxes, unpacking boxes, doing your classroom, you have new
emotionally
students.
Moving, thinking of a new unit. Still missing some of the students.
Now is the time.
Sad for that. Yeah, it's so much.
Yeah.
So it's so true. Okay, here.
So this is a good time to have our conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we were talking about the first step of identifying the teacher's role and working a little bit more into creating space for the students. Can you share some ideas or some practices that the teacher can do while they are in this stressful environment? Or maybe not. I guess we should start really early, rather not wait for the stressful environment. So what could be these daily practices that the teachers can do to regulate themselves and to be able to create that happy, comfortable space for the students?
Mm-hmm. We talked about the system, and I think that's crucial, having a system in place that works for you, because life is going to be stressful. We work in international schools. We have challenges, not just, the workload, but also being in a new culture, in a new country. I always remember, for me, arriving at school in a taxi, being shouted at or whatever happened in a taxi, there is just so much more than, Absolutely. And then unless I have space to then think, oh, okay, I'm going to leave that at the door. I'm going to walk in. Here I am at school, rather than rushing. So one of the practices for me was always arriving early. And people who work with me in schools know that I'm always really early at school. And for some people, that's a challenge because they might not be early risers. But what that little bit of a buffer zone gives you is that if you arrive at school, something lands on your desk, or as you say, maybe your taxi came late or got lost or stuck in traffic, you don't start your day already behind, already stressed.
So the start of the day is
and
very
sometimes
important.
Those lists. Absolutely. Start of the day to me is really important. And throughout the days, making sure, for example, lunch. As counselors, our lunchtime is always with students. But realizing that I'm going to stop, even if it's just for 10 minutes, and I'm going to prioritize having lunch. And it sounds, to somebody who doesn't work in schools, sounds absolute madness. When I say to my husband, hey, today I managed to have lunch, he's like, of course you did. No, it's not an of course you did, because as educators, we know that lunchtime is when we prep, when we go and do the photocopying,
or
when we
doing
quickly write some notes.
duty, lunch duties, you're out, you've not eaten all morning.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's those Maslow hierarchy things, making sure that we have got fluid, we have got food, we have looked after ourselves. I'm not saying, oh, you have to take 45 minutes lunch, because that's just not realistic, right? And maybe for you, it means having a few snack things in your drawer that when life is tight, you can still provide some food for yourself, and make sure you're ready for the afternoon. Those are little things that can really, really help. And asking for help. If you're overwhelmed, there's a student in your classroom, you really feel triggered, something is going on, lean on that support system that you have at school is really important. Go and ask for help. Say, hey, can somebody come and step in, or can somebody support me? Or, hey, I know you student work really well in your class. What's working for them? Rather than thinking, I have to fix it all myself, I have to figure it all out myself. Lean on the people that you have, because there are amazing people in international schools, right? Who have years and years and years of experience, and realizing you don't have to do this alone, right? There are people around you that you can lean on. That, to me, those are things that are really important. Give yourself some buffer time whenever that is during the day. Make sure you prioritize having lunch or something to eat where you can just calm down, and also asking for help. And sometimes it just means taking a quick 30 seconds in your classroom, focusing on your breathing and go, I'm not in an emergency. I am at school, it's busy. I'm going to calm my nervous system down. I'm going to calm myself down so that I can then bring that calm to my students. Even those small little things throughout the day can be really, really helpful. to provide that
Peter,
calm for students.
I'm just feeling talking to you that we are talking about the basics, and it's strange that we really have to talk about it
Mm-hmm.
as teachers sometimes because that 10 minutes in
Mm-hmm.
the morning, the lunch time or the breather time, that should be, sometimes we just take these things for granted. But it is so important and basic,
Mm-hmm.
just reminding ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Or why should we remind
Mm-hmm.
ourselves to be hydrated or fed, not taking a class hungry? Because nowadays
Mm-hmm.
these classes are often 50 minutes and often double slots, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, on one
Mm-hmm.
side it is
Yeah.
it is a little strange that we are talking about the basics, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And part of that is boundaries, right? How can I protect what I need so I can be the best I can for the students I work with? And sometimes it means saying no. Sometimes it means, sticking to what I tell myself at the beginning of the year. This year, I'm really going to try hard to have lunch, for example, and then having the boundary and sticking to that. So when people come and say, oh, can you just do this quickly for me? I'm just going to have lunch and then let me see how I can support you. So you're not saying, no, I don't care. I'm a teacher who just does my own thing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, sticking to your boundary and saying, I'm just going to have lunch and then let me see how I can support you.
So it's
That
not
way,
that instant
you are
decision
making
making.
sure you are supported.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So it's not that instant decision making of telling yes or no, but to buy time to make the process it and then make it happen. So you're not being rude to anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But in that way, but kinder
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
yourself, not rude to anyone, but kinder to yourself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And that's also the thing. Sometimes people think when you have boundaries, you are rude or, you are really
And that's
not
also
helpful.
taboo.
You're not a team player.
Yeah.
Mm.
In a school setup, sometimes
Yeah.
that's a taboo, you're like, oh, you're not approachable. That is the term that's used for you then. So it should be accepting
Yeah,
that,
absolutely.
that entire community to give space to each other, have boundaries, and like you said, not to celebrate that, overload, like working extra hours.
Yeah. And the kindness you mentioned is really important. And so often we are kind to everyone, but not very kind to ourselves, right? And extending that kindness to ourselves when things don't go well, or when maybe life took hold of me and I wasn't able to have a lunch, and then blaming myself. Oh, I should have had a lunch. I should have done this. I should have, arrived earlier. That's not helpful, right?
Yeah.
Extending kindness. I can't change the past. I'm aware of it. Let me take steps for, sorting things out better, tomorrow, because sometimes life just, you can't change it, right? I've worked in a school. I know the reality of sometimes your lunchtime just disappears. It's just one of those things, right? But being kind to yourself and saying, okay, however, moving forward, this is what I'm going to really work on.
Yeah. And good to be talking about kindness, because now with the social media, we get these little pop-ups saying, oh, be kind enough to buy yourself a coffee, go for shopping, go and have a, thing with your friends a little bit. So how much is that really showing kindness, and how much of it is more like, sometimes you really go out for a coffee and come back and you're still not, really calm. So can you share a little bit on that? How do we really identify and nurture ourselves in the right way?
I think that's where each person is different, right? For somebody going for a coffee, because social media told them to go and buy a coffee, might be the worst thing for them, because what they have all this energy and frustration. They need to go for a run, right?
Yeah.
They need to go to the school gym and just work out. Somebody else might be, Sarah, I am an introvert. Something that would help me is to sit in a quiet room and just be myself, focus on my breathing and read a book. For them, that's what they need. And realizing that just because I need a coffee, and for me, that's the magic thing I can do today to be kind, works, doesn't mean it's going to work for you, right? And extending kindness to others, just because somebody doesn't want to go for a coffee with me, doesn't mean they don't care, but it's just understanding that we all need different things.
And I'm so glad you mentioned this, because as educators, especially in arts, we're always talking about individualized learning. Each student is different, personalized, time and everything. And we often forget that the same works for us. Even we are unique educators with unique individual characteristics and ways of healing, right? So can you share a little bit more on, I know it's like a difficult question and we're all into this existential question about, who am I, and knowing ourselves better. But give us some tips on how can we get started. Like for me as an artist, I feel that journaling, drawing, just spending time making art, which is not for Instagram, kind of heals me. So how do we as educators, who may be not an artist, how to identify what truly heals them?
I think that's where we have to accept that we go on a journey ourselves. What works for us? In season, there are also seasons, right? Sometimes, for you as an artist, you might do art, but other times, actually, what is more healing for you after a stressful time might be to go for a walk, might be to, whatever it is, you're on a journey, right? And I suppose bringing this back to the summer holidays, so a crucial time after we've done so much for so many other people, realizing that stopping, having a little bit of time to notice, what do I need right now in that moment, after the maybe the best year, the worst year, the most challenging year, what do I need? Before then rushing into the summer break where you might be going back to your home country, seeing family, where everybody wants your time. Everybody wants to know about this amazing life that you live abroad. Everybody says, do this, do that, go there. Social media tells you one thing, somebody else tells you something else. And just saying, I'm going to stop all of that. This is where I focus on my journey. What do I need? And, for me is always, nature. I love being in nature, whether I was in China or in Uzbekistan or in Jordan. For me, being in nature can be so healing. Sometimes I didn't find the words to talk about everything that happened in a school year. Sometimes it was just sitting at the beach going,
nothing, blank.
The year is done. I'm going to be kind to myself and I'm just going to be here. I'm going to notice the sea, I'm going to notice the breeze, I'm going to just notice this moment is for me, not for my friends, not for anybody else. And then seeing what comes up. And when I notice things coming up that are maybe, blaming myself or questioning myself or all the shoulds or wish or, beating myself up about the parent meeting that didn't go well, noticing, saying, that's not how I would treat a friend, right? So I'm going to extend myself the same kindness as I would extend to you or any other person that I meet. Notice, let feelings come up, and then let things go. I'm going to let that parent meeting go, and some people might go for a run, and then, whilst running, they go, I'm annoyed about this meeting, I'm just going to run it out. For them, that's helpful. And for other people, it's talking. For other people, it might be doing music. For other people, it might be, I'm just going to read a really good book. Whatever it is, giving yourself and allowing yourself that space to process is really, really important. So you become aware what comes up and then let it go.
Yeah. And I'm so glad you mentioned about, the nature. I had taken it for granted. I was in India, then in China. It was stunning. I was on the bicycles every evening. I thought I was working out, but now I feel that it was more like my mental workout, with nature. Just that time,
Mm-hmm.
cycling by the beach. It used to be, it played a different role. And now that journey that has got me to a different place where I don't have that nature. Or even if it is there, it is more man-made.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the time in my life
Mm-hmm.
I do value what you said about nature. I can't even put that feeling in words, but it does heal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And it might be that you bring nature home. You have plants, right? Whatever it is, finding something that is helpful for you, I think is really important. And what you said about, in the evening you used to go cycling, something that really helps is having a clear break between work and home. And in international schools, we know that sometimes you live on compounds. Your next door neighbor is a teacher, and you just think, oh, I couldn't catch them today. I need to talk to them. Let's just knock on their door. Don't.
Yeah.
Realizing that home is home, and making a clear separation between I'm at work and I'm home. And it might be that you go home and you change clothes. Right? It might be that you walk home, and then once you open your front door, make that mental decision, put a note up saying school is finished, because that also helps your nervous system calm down and let go of some of that tension that you might have carried all day with students, and be at home, be there for your family, be there for your partner, or just be there for yourself, showing up, going, okay, school is finished. Bring awareness to that and do that mindfully. It's so easy to just rush through life, right? With work, with school, with kids. I'm just going to send that email. I'm just going to do that, and often those things build up.
I never thought of it like that when you said transition time. And now I feel, yes, that's so true. That cycling, because we used to cycle from school to home, that transition gave me enough time to process, tell my mind, now the school is closed, I've left it behind, like really, practically, and then moving towards my home. So that indeed kind of separated the school and the home. And, like I'm married to a teacher and a musician. We're working at the same school. So sometimes it's a little difficult, when we're having tea in the evening. We're again talking of the school. And again, we need to remind ourselves, not once, couple of times, that we are not going to talk about school. So, yeah.
Yeah. And it's lots of little things that we have talked about. All of them together, will help you to have good well-being, good mental health. It's not the one thing that's going to fix it all, because life is not like that. What are the little things that I can do each day that are manageable, right? We are not asking somebody to go bungee jumping after they finish school every day, to let go of their worries. That's not what we are saying. We are saying, what are the little things you can do that are achievable today throughout the year to help yourself? So at the end of the year, yes, you will be tired. Yes, everybody's tired and worn out emotionally. It's the end of the school year. But what are some things that you can do throughout the year, so at the end of the school year, you're not going to be sick for a week. You're not having a complete breakdown and can't cope. You are just tired. And that's okay.
That's okay.
Right?
And
but
I'm glad you mentioned this,
because little things matter.
Yeah, because sometimes, we say that, okay, it's 5 days, it's Monday to Friday, and then I'll rest on the weekends. So here, coming back to what you were saying, it's so much better to do that little bit every single day that 10 minutes in the morning earlier, rather than saving all your, healing therapy for the weekend and not being able to get up from bed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And just having at least one day where you say, okay, today is my day, I'm not going to do anything work related, can be really helpful. Is it always possible? No. I was a counsellor. I had phone calls, from my principal saying, we have an emergency. Can you come and support? Of course I can, right? I'm not going to be, we're not rigid people who don't care. Of course we help. But what's our usual routine? My usual routine was, yes, at school, Monday to Friday, I try and do as much as I can. And at the weekend, I try to do one day where I wasn't at school. But for me, something that did help me is at the weekend to just go in for a few hours because it's peaceful. Nobody was knocking on my door. Nobody was, saying, Sarah, we need your help. I didn't have 10 students outside and a teacher in tears. For me, that actually then set me up for the week to be in a healthier place because I was prepared. I knew what was coming. So knowing what works for you is really important. We are not saying, you must do art, you must do this, you must do breathing. We are just saying, becoming aware, what is it that works for you? What is it that helps you stay calm and regulated for your students? And then including those throughout the day, throughout the week, and holding yourself accountable to that. Because in the busyness, we might not feel like going for a run. We might not feel like getting up a little bit earlier, but holding ourselves accountable and saying, I do know this actually works, whether I feel it or not, is really important.
Thank you so much for touching upon so many different topics, and yet, we're taking back this very, very important feeling of let's not save our entire well-being to the weekend, but doing little things which is personalized to ourselves every single day. That is what I took back from here.
Yeah.
Anything else that you would like to tell the audience, the teachers, that would be helpful for them to get themselves a little bit more prepared for the coming term?
I think it's the kindness. Be kind to yourself. You are amazing educators who care for every student that walks in, and you carry so much emotional weight that people bring. Treat that with kindness. Don't let it be something that wears you out. You are the right person for those students at the right time. Give yourself that little bit of kindness to look after yourself so that you can then support others. Whatever that looks like, whatever that means, it's okay. You're an amazing educator. That's why you are where you are. And maybe the year hasn't gone well. Maybe this has been a really challenging year. Treat it with kindness. Last year doesn't define who you are. Be kind, notice, and then let it go. Bring closure to that. So then the new year, you can start afresh. It's a new year. Here I am. These are the things that I would love to focus on.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And for every podcast, we have this little fun rapid fire round at the end. Okay. So, and you would have just about 2 to 3 seconds to answer each question. Okay.
Okay. Go.
So you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Beach or mountains?
Mountain.
Okay. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
One book that every teacher should read?
I would say Bessel van der Kolk, The Body Keeps the Score. It's a counsellor book, but it's really good.
And is it for everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. Journaling or meditation?
Journaling.
One word teachers need to hear more often in their everyday lives.
That they're amazing professionals.
Yeah. One misconception about self-care.
That it's a luxury.
Yeah, okay. A childhood activity that still brings you joy.
Swimming in the lakes.
Oh, wow, okay. A favorite way to completely switch off.
Going to the mountains.
Okay. And the last one emotion teachers should allow themselves to feel more openly and talk about it.
Exhaustion, how exhausting something is, and to talk about it and normalizing that we are tired and we are worn out, and let's talk about it so that we can take steps like those little things to help us feel, equipped to face whatever we have to face during the school day.
And now to all the educators, you know whom to reach out. And I would definitely recommend that. I'm already feeling so good, speaking to you. So, yes, to be able to identify ourselves, just know, be kind to ourselves. And we always know to reach out to Sarah or any other counselor to ask for help. It's all okay. So, just that feeling of that it's all okay, So, yeah, thank you so much once again.
Welcome. Thank you so much for facilitating this conversation, because bringing it to the forefront of people's minds during the holiday, especially this summer break, is really important, because it normalizes it, right? And it helps hopefully your listeners feel equipped and feel ready to transition into the summer well. So they don't have all those little things in the suitcase that are hiding those emotions, but are able to, transition into the summer well and have an amazing year next year.
Thank you so much, Sarah, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much.